All right, y'all. So let's talk circulatory system. So if you remember last week and the week before, we've discussed blood. So we know the components of blood. We know about white blood cells, plasma, platelets, and the red blood cells and what their function is. Okay, so we are aware of what is now circulating through the circulatory system. And what those nutrients are for. Now let's talk about how we get this blood, nutrients, and waste around the body. And that is the circulatory system. And it is composed of the heart, which you see here. It's composed of blood vessels, which you see here on a smaller picture, and then blood vessels overall on a larger spectrum. Okay, so something I like to think about with the circulatory system is think about a highway. Highways are, cars usually go in one direction. You might have two lanes, one going north, one going south, or one going east, one going west. Okay, so your circulatory system is the same way. So you're always going to go in the same direction. Everything will go in one direction. And that's how your blood vessels work. So the heart is that engine that keeps your blood going in the same direction. Okay, so blood cannot go backwards. If it does, we have a major problem. So blood will always go in the same direction. I can't say it enough. So this is why we have so many blood vessels going in so many directions. Going to so many places. But again, they will eventually branch and converge, all going in the same direction. All right, so let's focus in on the heart. Okay, so hopefully you know where your heart's located. It's in the center of your chest, right behind your sternum. The apex, or the lower section, points to the left side of your body. That's why when you put your right hand over your heart, you are covering all of your heart, including the section that diverges to the left. If you make a fist out of your hand, that's about the size of your heart. So hopefully you weren't thinking it was much bigger or much smaller than that. Okay, but again, this is the pump for your body, and it consists of what are called chambers. It has valves, and it has blood vessels. Okay, now chambers are just like rooms. They're openings in the heart that collect blood and then push it through a blood vessel. So chambers are openings in the heart. And they collect blood. Excuse my handwriting. Okay, so again, these chambers collect blood, and you have 4 of them. So these open areas are where blood is collected and then pushed through either to another chamber or into a blood vessel. Okay, a valve is like a swinging door. So if you've ever seen an old Western with a saloon and somebody walks into the saloon, usually before they have that bar fight. Okay, a valve is like that swinging door that you see into a saloon. And what valves do is they help to open the chamber to let blood in, and then they close it so that blood does not run backwards. Okay, it is a one-way door to keep blood moving in the same direction. Okay, so those are valves, and you have 4 of those as well. So for every chamber, it has a door. Okay, so for every room, you have a door. In real life, well, hopefully you have all your doors. Okay, if not, I'm so sorry, but you have 4 valves that help to keep blood going in a forward direction for your 4 chambers. Okay, finally, you have blood vessels, and these blood vessels are vessels or tubes that push blood throughout the body. So these are tubes that carry blood to and from the heart. Okay, and you have veins and arteries. So kind of segue into that, your heart has some different colors that I'm sure you've seen in different anatomy or biology books. Blood vessels and the parts of the heart are either red or blue, and that's signaling what type of blood is flowing through that side of the heart. Okay, so if you see red blood signals oxygenated blood, or blood that is carrying oxygen in it. Okay, and that oxygen, like you learned with red blood cells, as oxygen attaches to the hemoglobin, it gives it that reddish color. So it is O2 blood. Okay, so anything you see, blood vessels or parts of the heart that are red, are considered O2 blood or oxygenated blood. Okay, on the contrary, if you see blue blood is considered carbon dioxide enriched blood or dirty blood. This is blood that is carrying all of your carbon dioxide and waste that your body is trying to get rid of and exhale out. Okay, so as you go through parts of the heart and parts of the blood vessels, if it is red, it is carrying oxygenated blood. These are also called arteries. Okay, and arteries carry blood away from the heart. Okay, and if you see blue blood, which is carbon dioxide rich blood, those are in veins, and veins carry blood toward the heart. Okay, feel free to pause the video and let any of this marinate. It kind of is a lot to go over at one time, but it will all make sense at the end as all of the puzzle pieces start to come together. Okay, so once again, arteries carry oxygen-rich blood, which is signaled by the red color in blood vessels or parts of the heart. Veins carry blood toward the heart, and they carry carbon dioxide rich blood or dirty blood toward the heart for us to get rid of. All right, so let's talk parts of the heart. Let's talk the anatomy of the heart. So we've talked chambers, we've talked valves, and we've talked blood vessels. So let's label this bad boy and talk about how blood travels through the heart. Bam. All right, so one more label. We have to label the left and the right side. Okay, because again, these are all one-way highways. So that includes blood flowing through the heart. So we have the left side and the right side that both carry different types of blood. Okay, so the right side carries CO2 blood. Okay, so that will be your blue blood on the right side. If we're on the left side of the heart, we are carrying oxygen-rich blood. Okay, so everything will either be labeled left side or right side, depending on what type of blood we are talking about. Okay, so I always like to start my party on the right side. The right side is carrying that dirty blood. It's traced all the way around the body, and we are getting ready to oxygenate it. Okay, so this starts with a blood vessel. We have the superior vena cava. Okay, and vena cava meaning vein. Okay, and then we have the inferior vena cava. Okay, both of these are carrying blood from the upper and lower parts of the body. And these blood vessels carry blood into the right atrium. Okay, and the right atrium is a chamber that carries blood into the first section of the heart. Okay, so this is the right atrium, all of this area here. Okay, so blood is pulled in, okay, and then it is held in here by this valve. There is not a label here, so I will add one. Okay, and this is coming from right here. This is called your tricuspid valve. Okay, and it's called tricuspid valve because, yes, tri meaning three. This valve actually divides into three sections, and I hate that we're not able to do dissection so that you could see this valve that divides into three sections. So it opens up to let blood in, and it snaps when the right atrium is filling with blood. Okay, so this is the tricuspid valve. After that is the right ventricle. Okay, so number 2 is the right ventricle. It is that lower chamber where blood is pulled into the second part of the right side. Okay, again, every door has a valve. Okay, and this valve is called the pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay, and some people will just call it the semilunar valve. Okay, and it gets its name from its shape. Okay, semilunar meaning half moon. So it has a half moon shape. Okay, and then pulmonary means lungs. Okay, so again, those med terms kind of popping up. Okay, so pulmonary semilunar valve. This valve is protecting blood from pooling into the pulmonary arteries. Okay, and this is the only artery that will be that will contain carbon dioxide blood. Okay, so all arteries carry blood away. Normally that blood is oxygen rich, but in this case it is not. Okay, it is carrying blood to the lungs where carbon dioxide is exchanged for oxygen. Okay, so once it's gone through the pulmonary arteries, we now enter the left side. Okay, so just to give you a review, and I'm gonna move my screen down and kind of give you a list. So if we are tracing blood on the right side of the heart, okay, it starts with the superior and inferior vena cava. Okay, then it enters the right atrium into the tricuspid valve. Okay, through or into the right ventricle. Okay, where it passes through the pulmonary semilunar valve. Remember, that's the way it's shaped. Okay, and then it passes into the pulmonary artery. Again, that's the only artery carrying carbon dioxide rich blood. Okay, and then it passes, or that gas exchange happens in the lungs. Okay, again, take a moment to pause, kind of take a look at this, but this is the way or the path that blood takes through the right side of the heart. Remember, the right side is carbon dioxide blood or the dirty blood, and its purpose is to get oxygen, carbon dioxide, into the lungs for that gas exchange to take place. All right, so once gas exchange